Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm just going to do a very quick little watercolor. I'm testing out some new paints, and I just wanted to, I'm pretty sure they're the same as something else I've used in the past, and I just want to do like a little painting to see. And I will have a full review on this set of paints. These are brand new from Paul Rubens. Take a look at this tin. Isn't this tin pretty? Anyway. They're new, and I hope to have this video up on Wednesday, I think it's the 9th, and if so, they will be on one of those Prime Day sales, so might be good to grab them if you need some watercolor, but I think that they are the same as the Xiaomei watercolors, set of 24, that, except there's a couple colors that are different. It does give you 2 extra pans, but it's, it seems to be the same. I'm just getting the lettering in. It's not going to be perfect. I just want to get a basic little sketch here. I want to, I don't think these paints are going to flow very well. They didn't in my swatch, so I'm just going to see how they are to work with. I've done this painting in pastel before, actually, which was, it was a lot of fun. And I was just thinking this might be really fun to do in watercolor. I might add some inking to it because it is Inktober, and although I have not really been following the Inktober protocols, I've just been doing my own thing. I've been doing some oil painting, I've been doing some, I haven't put any of my oil painting stuff up yet. Well, maybe it will be up by this week. But anyways, yeah, I'm just having a good time, as we should, as we all should, right? As we should. Okay, let's see. Oh, and I've got random brushes here. My regular watercolor brushes, that's all right. All right, let's see. Do I want to put a background in? You know, I don't think I do. I think I'm just gonna grab a round brush here. And let's start by wetting. Oh, you know what? I should start with the jar here first. It's fun to sketch with a watercolor pencil because the lines will dissolve. If you don't like that, you can sketch with like a col erase pencil, which is not a water soluble pencil, but it is a colored pencil, but it's not really waxy, so it doesn't resist the watercolor, but it doesn't like doesn't fade out either. One of the things I like to do when I'm doing a jar is I like to pull a little bit of so like the sun's coming in that way, I'll pull a little bit of a shadow, but it'll be a colorful shadow because we've got like stuff coming through the jar, and I like to do that. Let's see, a little bit of this. I'll take a little bit of a phthalo blue here. I actually had a very productive day. It's nice when that happens. I've been working on a critique club project, and I've been working on some reviews. I've been using oil sticks in critique club, and so that's been fun. That's been so fun. But I'm just letting them set up a little bit. I think I'm gonna let them set up overnight so I can do another layer, but oh man, they are fun. They are so fun. Loving it. I like to put a little bit of yellow inside. There's this pretty gamboge in this set. It's almost like an Arulian. PY153. Oh my gosh, see? How pretty is that when you add it into that color? These paints are nice. They're fairly inexpensive as well. I think they're maybe like a step above, very close to the Miliang, maybe a step above the Miliang, but not quite as good as the artist range, the artist grade. Maybe I'll take a little bit of, I don't know if I like that burnt sienna because it's a little bit murky, but give it a little bit of something. Maybe I'll do the Van Dyke brown. I like the Van Dyke brown a little bit better. Oh, so I'm getting enough movement, because that's something I was a little concerned with, that I wasn't going to get enough movement with these paints, but they're flowing. I like that. I think that's kind of pretty. All right, so let's pop back up here and we'll wet this flower. I'm working on a handmade sketchbook, and I do a tutorial if you want to learn how. I had made this one with Hanamula Cezanne paper, and I'm not sure if they make that anymore. I think they may have rebranded it as their collection paper, because they had a lot of lines going on, different lines going on. Now there's this color here in this set, and they call it Flesh, and what it is kind of like a Naples yellow, but it's a PW6 and PY42, and I'm like, what the heck would I ever use that for? But then I'm like, well, why don't I see if that might be nice in this little flower, and see how that goes. It might work out just well. It is kind of a like I heard the word stodgy used to refer to a color. I'm like, that's actually such a great word to refer to a color that just doesn't want to really do much other than just kind of sit put where it is. And I think I'm also going to do a little bit of permanent rose. I'm still getting my bearings as to where everything is on this palette. I should have made a little swatch that was fully accurate to that, but I haven't yet. I should have when I was doing my big swatching, but I was filming that and narrating it. It was like, my gosh, people are going to lose interest with this real quick. I'm going a little more vibrant than what my reference photo is, which is just one from Unsplash. I like to get as much as I can in with that first wash. I think I'll go back in. Well, you know what? I have to say that these paints are getting really kind of mushy. That's way too bright. But at least I can see the flow. But I feel like that's a little bit too much for that. But let me take another brush. My brushes probably look strange because I actually am using my my mixed media brushes. So I had them out for, I don't even remember what I was doing now. Had them out for something. Had them out for, I don't even remember what. Something I was doing today. It's been a busy day. Can't keep track of all of this. Not for oils though. They weren't for, I didn't have them out for oil painting. But I do not remember. Oh, I was finishing up my review for my Karen Dosh gouache. That's what I was doing. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and just base this little guy in while I'm at it. These are peonies, I believe. Well, that's wet. I wonder. Going with a brush that's a little bit drier here. Let's take a little bit of that gamboge and some of that rose. It's going to make kind of a burnt coral type of color. Maybe a bit too much, I don't know. That color is heavily prominent in this flower, so I'm just going to go in just playing. Sometimes you need to do that. Don't put so much pressure on yourself that every time you sit down it's got to be a freaking masterpiece. It doesn't. I put that pressure on myself, and I do it for a living, and I don't think it has to be. I think I need to follow my own advice and give myself a break sometimes too. Because if you're not taking risks, if you're not trying new things, then your work is going to get really stagnant, and you're going to burn out because you're not going to be growing. You only grow when you put yourself in that uncomfortable situation of making mistakes. I'm going to pull in a different yellow. I feel like I need something that's a little bit more tempered, so I'm going to go in with this lemon, maybe even add it with a little bit of that quote-unquote flesh color. Poorly named flesh color. And see what we get. Sometimes I'll switch brushes if I feel like I'm getting too repetitive in my marks. And that can help liven things up. Going in with the flat brush is also kind of fun because it you can't totally predict exactly what you're going to get as far as the you know, the shapes of the strokes and whatnot. Not some messy loose petals. I'm going to chop some petals in there, give a little bit of life. I think that worked out pretty well. It's coming along. 10 minutes. I don't think that's too bad. I'm wondering if I should try maybe a different red. Maybe that Cad Red Deep, which is kind of like a it's got a little bit of a pink tone to it. Is that the one? No, I don't. Well, I'm going to put it a few places because I've already got it on my brush. Oh, I kind of like it, but no, I don't think that's what I was really wanting. Maybe it was this one. You can make such interesting shapes with a flat brush. You lose the control. You lose some control, but you get this different kind of momentum in there. All right. I like working like around the picture and kind of hitting different things at different levels of dryness. I'm going to go back in with the watercolor pencil while there's still some wet areas and see if I can just kind of sketch on some petals. You don't need to put too much pressure when you're going onto a damp surface. And in fact, you probably don't want to, because if you do decide that you don't like it, it's going to be difficult to remove it if you've, like, to blend it out if you've pressed firmly. Not sure if I like that area, but overall I think I like this technique. Just going to soften some of that out. I feel like I want like a dark spot, kind of like right towards the center, and then I just want to work out from there. I think peonies are probably, I don't know, my favorite flower. They're definitely a favorite flower because they have a lot of petals, but they're big petals. I like big petal flowers. This buried area where it's really a lot of occlusional shadows, things touching. That's some shadow right on that too. But the shadows are really deep red in here as well. I like a little of that sparkle. I think these paints might wear down a little on the quick side. They are a liquid poured pan as opposed to an extruded pan. I always find my liquid poured pan paints don't, like, I go through them quicker. Like, it would take several things to see a dent in a standard pan, but a liquid poured pan is a little bit quicker. Now I'm going to do the waterline on the vase. Let's see, let's get that color again. I think I want to have it a little bit less soupy. The intense blue, like a phthalo blue and an emerald green, or phthalo blue and phthalo green. I should say. I don't think that's the best brush for watercolor. That's all right. I'm just going to soften. I don't mind a little swirly strokes though. That's fine with me. I just took a sticker off of this and now it's like wanting to stick to my hands. Don't you hate that when companies put they'll put a label, a sticker on, and then you go to use it, you go to take it off, and it just makes everything stick to your fingers. I hate that on pencils too. It's like, maybe you should just print the barcodes on or something, because that's for the birds. We're a little crooked here. That's alright, I'll just smooth it out. Actually, I'm going to turn it upside down and see if my jar is symmetrical, which I don't think it is. I think we're a little off. Oops. Hey, look, a ruler. I could have used that to draw my face. I might not notice that I've painted it crooked now, but I will when I post it on Instagram. I should have left out a highlight, but that's all right. All right, I'm going to make a stem. Take some of that sap green, maybe a little bit of hooker's green. Ooh. These are affected by the moisture. They might travel a bit. I'm just going to give that the impression of stems. That looks so... The bottom of that looks so tippy and weird to me. It's definitely not right. It definitely is not. Okay, I've got this set up too high. Oops. Still doesn't quite look right. You know what I mean? It still looks off. Excuse me while I turn my painting upside down and try to figure out, I think it's overall just leaning too far. Hopefully my head's not in the way. I apologize if it is. Kind of lost a light airiness, but hopefully it's a little bit better. I can't really see much for stems. You know what, I'm going to try to lift a little bit of that out. I'm feeling like that's a little too heavy. That's a little better. Alright, I think it's a little bit better. Let that dry and we can do some crisp details on top. Can't really see much as far as like stems, the way I have these packed so closely, but I'm going to throw just a few little sepals in there. Something. Maybe I'll put a little petal on the couple little petals on the table. See if I can remember what a peony petal looks like. That's probably a bit much, but oh well. You know what? It needs then. We could do a little spattering on there. Alright, let's let this dry and then we'll come back and add some details and some shadows and whatnot and call it done. Alright, let's finish her up. I'm going to start in with this mix for the jar, the phthalo blue and the emerald green. And I've just got a smaller brush here. It's kind of like a liner. Alright, I am going to very carefully draw a waterline. I don't think I have it perfectly, but I'm not going to worry. Yeah, I definitely don't. I'm just not going to go for perfection here. We're just going to be like, whatever. Actually, these hard lines, because that's going to make it look like glass. Now let's see if I can do lettering. That is always my hardest thing. I always have to draw my letters. Oh shoot, I think I didn't take this out further enough. I mess up on the word perfect, isn't that ironic? Maybe not so much ironic as it is totally expected. Oh God, what am I doing here? I'm going to get some stems in there. Oh, those paints are getting soupy. And some brown. I think I made my own chrome oxide green. Okay. To have thinner lines above the water line, and then actually switch to a bigger brush because that one's not thick enough. Do kind of offset thicker lines below the water line. And then you can throw in any colors you want that you've used can go here or there, just as far as like a reflection. I don't want to go too crazy, but oh, you know what though? I think I will take some of that blue blue-green mix and maybe I think something like that would look good. Give it a little juicier of an appearance. Add a little bit of, I like that gambosia. Gambosia is so much like an cerulean. I'll have to use a gel pen for some white highlights because I totally did not leave them, but I like how that's got a little bit more glow to it now. Yeah, I like the juiciness. I kind of want to add a little bit more. Sometimes I just like to flick water and then like give paths for other paint to go. Like I'll dab the water and then I'll just kind of add some colors. I don't know, it just makes it a little more lively, I think, sometimes. Especially if it's feeling kind of stiff. Actually, some of that rose color would be pretty. Probably a little too strong. Alright, speaking of that rose color, actually I want to go to that small brush because I feel like I need to commit to some colors and crisp shapes in the flowers as well. Everything does not have to be a masterpiece, you know? And sometimes I get a little worked up and I'll be like, oh, well, like it's not worth putting out there. Nobody's going to want to do it. Nobody's going to want to watch it. And okay, maybe they don't. They don't have to. Everybody doesn't have to like it. Everybody doesn't have to watch it. But that might be someone like brand new to watercolor that's like, oh, I like that. That looks like something I can do, you know? Instead of it looking like something that's over, you know, over their head, they can look at this and be like, oh, you know what? I think I could do that. And yeah, you can. If I can do it, if I'm just kind of like puttering around and playing in my sketchbook, you can too. Doesn't matter. If Lindsay doesn't care how hers comes out, why do I have to care how mine comes out? I can just enjoy it. I think anyway. I think that's fine. I think it's fine to do that. Did I use this color? I don't think I did. I think I used that color. That color is too acidy though. I need something a little bit softer. I like maybe that flesh tone would be good for like those softer colors. This brush is not great for this paper unless you do just want a little detail because it's too thin. I don't know. Let's try it and then use some gel pen and see what we think. And when I thought all hope was lost, I realized it's Inktober. So I'm going to add some ink. And then I'll have something I can post for Inktober. I got a nice, fresh, new, white Uniball Signo gel pen. And maybe that's all I'll need, but we will see. So when I'm doing like details on glass, especially if it's lettering, I will use highlights to kind of bring my design back to where it ought to be, because all you got to do is just hint at different areas, and that will often just be all you need to get that kind of look that you want. Honestly, I have to look at letters because I can't talk and do this at the same time. I haven't live narrated something outside of Critique Club in a while for, gosh, I don't think for much, really. I'm always so concerned with time on YouTube, like, oh, it's going to be too long, nobody's going to watch it. When it comes to like tutorials, I think with like, not too much with the other stuff, because like Sat Chat, people like that's always 28 minutes, nobody minds. And I think like things like reviews, people just put them on in the background and just kind of hang out while it's on. They'll do different things, like they'll have their coffee or whatever, so that's more of like just an ambient video that you just have on in the background. You can kind of bring things back in this when you're doing the inking. And of course we'd have more light over here because it's casting the shadow. Okay. Hey, that's not too bad. Alright. That's alright. Do I want to do any highlights with a pen and the flower? Maybe just little sparkles or something. I don't think I want it too heavy. Let's bring back a little bit of paper maybe, basically. I might not like this, I don't know, but you know, that's well, that's the thing that I like about Inktober, even though I haven't been like doing it the typical way. I don't want to say the right way, because I don't think there's any right way to do an art challenge. I think the best way to do it is so that you're going to get what you want out of it. Either you're increasing your practice or you're building a skill. Yeah, I think you just need to make it work for your goals. Or if maybe you don't have a goal, maybe your goal is just to make time for art, just to have fun, just to, start a new hobby. And everybody's goals are going to be different, so the way everybody treats an art challenge should be a little bit different, I think. I like that. I think that lightens it up a little bit. Maybe white ink is the only ink I use here today. I feel like I want to get some of the actual petals that I'm seeing in my reference photo instead of just the arbitrary kind of swooshy lines that I put in there. But I also don't want it to be fussy, but there's like a million petals. Well, that's a exaggeration, but there's a lot of petals in a peony. They're so pretty though. My mom has peonies growing in her backyard, and they are so pretty, and like they don't last long though, and all it takes is like one bad rainstorm to like do them in, which is so sad. Oh, you know what would actually be fun here? I've got some like different brush pens. I wonder how these would go. I wonder if those would be too much. I love these. I haven't used them very much though lately. These are the Jane Davenport mermaid markers, and they've got the real brush tips. So if I do pick up colors from my palette, it's not gonna mess up the markers, but they're really more of an ink than a marker, and I think that might be fun to do some expressive lines in here. I think that if you're doing art and you're not happy with how it's going and you don't like your work, you don't like how a painting is coming out, it's just not done yet. You just gotta kind of plug away at it a little bit more. Now that, I think I want to soften a few of those edges. I like that. That worked out pretty good. Boy, I haven't used those in a while, and they were still ready to roll. Look how vibrant that is. That certainly is not light fast. But I don't care. It's a sketchbook. Ooh, I don't know if I like adding the water to it now that I don't know. Regret. No regret, just not done yet. That's the motto. No regret, not done yet. You know what? Maybe, what about taking some of this super, or I want to say super opaque, 'cause it's not super opaque, but it is definitely more opaque. This, I'm just going to call it, I don't know what to call it, because I don't like calling it skin color or flesh color, whatever the heck they called it, because it just seems so uninclusive, and it doesn't look like anybody's skin. It's like, I don't know, jaundice yellow. It's like a Naples yellow. Are we getting somewhere? Are we? I don't know. Maybe we'll try out that Chinese white. Let's see what that has to offer. And you know what? I should have put another drop of water on there, because I just put some water on there to swatch it, and that was it. You know what, though? That might be good as a little soft highlight. Okay, that might be all right. There's a few areas where I would like to just kind of touch in some white. I thought about using the leaf-proof white, because that's kind of that's very opaque. That's kind of like an ink, but I thought it might be a little too harsh. What do we think? I don't know. I think we're doing all right. I hope I don't run out of video time on my camera, because I just had a 16 gigabyte card in there. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to need that much. Look at that yellow. I love that yellow in the center of that. That's a beautiful mixing yellow. The colors are nice. Actually, that's really pretty. I think I want to do a little bit more. Just expressive grasses or something. Something in there. Well, you know, I think I'm going to call this done for this video anyway. Maybe I'll putter around with it some more. I don't know. But I think the talking and thinking are just a little bit too much for me right now. But I think as it is, I think it looks fine. And I hope it encourages you to play a bit. I might add some black ink to this. I don't know. But there you have it. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this Watercolor Wednesday. I'm trying to do them every week, but this month has been, this summer, yeah. Are you having that too? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and happy crafting. Bye.